everybody, it's that time of the week again. Let's talk about episode 12 of Shadowhunters, Malec. It has finally happened, you guys. I cannot even deal anymore. Malec has finally happened. The Malec kiss has finally happened. But before I get into all of that, let's talk about this episode. The episode starts off showing Isabel planning Alec and Lydia's wedding. She is in charge of it all. And I'm not just talking about the wedding. She's trying to plan a bachelor party for Alec as well, which is really hilarious to me. She doesn't know hardly anything about the mundane world, and apparently bachelor parties aren't really a big thing in Shadowhunter society. That's the way she is portraying it, so she goes to Simon for help. I'm gonna get back to this, but wow. So one of the first things we see with Isabel as she's planning the wedding, we see her have a conversation with Jace, and Jace is still not on speaking terms with Alec, and he has no real plan to be on speaking terms with him anytime soon. They are trying to find the warlock that gave the potion to Jocelyn to put her into that coma, and so far they don't really have much of a lead, so they're gonna really need to get Magnus to help them figure out who did this. When we first see Clary in the episode, we see her having a nice conversation with Luke, and then a really awesome conversation with Alec. They're basically standing over Jocelyn's body, and Clary thanks Alec for the help in getting Jocelyn back, and Alec thanks Clary for helping save Izzy's life by giving the clay of the mortal cup. I don't see how Alec has really helped Clary so far. I don't know why Clary's really thanking him, because he was working against her the entire time she was trying to get her mother back, but whatever. As all this is going down between Clary and Alec, Alec receives a phone call from Magnus, and Magnus has invited Alec over to chat with him about something. We all have a clue about what this is all about, but Alec is still in complete denial of his feelings, so when he goes over there, he just is all business, and yeah, that's not how things really play out. Magnus gets straight to the point, tells Alec how he feels. He just keeps putting himself out there, and Alec turns him down yet again and gets kind of hostile towards Magnus. I found this scene very, very well done. I love just the dynamic in this relationship. It is so great, and honestly, I cannot imagine the relationship between Magnus and Alec portrayed any better. They are perfect. The next thing we see happen is Clary calling Simon to ask him to be her date to the wedding. I feel so horrible for Simon at this point. He now has hope for a relationship with Clary, and Clary is still just whoosh, over her head. She does not see Simon in that way, and I just want to take Simon aside and explain to him that it's not gonna work out and he needs to go get with Izzy right now. Just like, yeah, Simon. Sizzy, yes. Kleiman, no. After that, we see Magnus show up at the Institute to help Clary and Jace narrow down the list of warlocks that they're looking through to figure out who gave the potion to Jocelyn. Well, the reason Magnus has to go to the Institute, he complains about it, is because Hodge cannot leave the Institute. And it is very good that they really kind of mentioned that, threw that in there again, that he is not able to leave the Institute, because it's very important at the end of the episode. When they put up on the screen a picture of 3 warlocks as they've narrowed down this list, we see Tessa Gray, Ragnar Fell, and Katarina Loss. Now, I'm just gonna go ahead and clarify things, because a lot of people are freaking out about Tessa. That is most certainly not who is going to be playing Tessa. That is kind of just a filler to show her presence in the world. If or when they actually cast Tessa, we will know. We will know. And I know they will be very, very picky about that. I don't even know if that's who's going to be actually playing Katarina Loss. I assume it probably is, but Tessa is a very important character that they are not going to just be like, this is who's playing her, but you'll see her later. Yeah, no, I doubt that is Tessa. And Ragnar, a lot of people are complaining about Ragnar. I don't have any complaints about Ragnar. The actor that plays him is wonderful, and I believe Ragnar is under a glamour, and that is why he is not green, you guys. That is why he's not green. We don't see Magnus's cat eyes all the time. Doesn't mean they're not there. Moving along, Magnus figures out that Ragnar is the one that made the potion because he taught at the Shadowhunter Academy when Jocelyn was there, and everything just seems to add up. So it's very cool, and I'm just so excited that we finally got to see Ragnar in this episode. The scenes with him did not disappoint, and I hope we get to see him a lot more in the future. So as Magnus, Clary, and Jace are about to head out to Ragnar's, Magnus has a very awkward run-in with Alec and Lydia, and Jace just kind of blows Alec off when Alec offers to help. And the tension between Alec and Jace at this moment, the tension in that entire scene was just, wow. So after that run-in with Alec and Lydia, Jace and Clary have a very interesting conversation, and it's about how weird Jace is feeling right now because he kissed his sister and he really wanted her. I think this was one of my favorite Jace episodes. There's just so much going on with his character in this episode, and I thought Dom did a really great job portraying it. When they are almost to Ragnar's house and Jace and Clary are still having all these awkward moments between them, Magnus starts getting very amused about the situation and then throws in a fact that he was around in ancient Egypt. No you weren't, Magnus. He's such a liar. I love that they're including how he always fibs about his age in the show, just like in the books. It's wonderful. Just as they arrive at Ragnar's house, a green wall of flame shoots up, and only the pure of heart and intention can pass through it, supposedly. Well, Clary, Jace, and Magnus pass through it. Then Clary sees that she's alone. She has no idea where Magnus and Jace went. She enters Ragnar's house and sees this painting of Ragnar. She sees the eyes move, and then she pulls Ragnar out of the painting. Ragnar's basically just testing her to see what she can do, and then he seemingly starts speaking to thin air, and after she offers anything in payment for his help, he makes Jace and Magnus appear. He made them invisible and mute so that they couldn't say anything as Clary was freaking out and telling Ragnar she'd give him anything. So Ragnar is just about to help them. He tells Clary that the only thing that can help him to help Jocelyn is if he gets the Book of the White, which is what he used to make the potion in the first place. When he goes to find something to help him locate that book again, because Jocelyn had it after he made the potion, he gets attacked by a Shax demon and killed. I know a lot of people, myself included, were upset that Ragnar was already killed, but it goes with the storyline, and I think we'll probably see some flashback scenes with him. I am so sure of it. And I'm not really worried about it because of what we got at the end of this episode. So as Ragnar lies dying and Magnus is overwhelmed with emotion and grief, he opens a portal to send Clary and Jace away while he takes care of Ragnar and gathers any objects that may help them in locating the Book of the White. I feel so bad for Magnus at this point. He just has so much happen to him in this episode, and yeah, it was sad. It was a very sad scene, and I felt so horrible for Magnus. Yeah. When they get back to the Institute, Clary and Jace tell Izzy that they have a mole. Someone leaked the information that they were going to Ragnarfell's house, and that is why a demon followed them and killed Ragnar. Jace thinks it might be Lydia. And so, as he's about to go and question Lydia, Clary offers to go and question Lydia instead and see if she has betrayed them. Well, Lydia clarifies that she is not working with Valentine, and it was foolish for Clary to even think so, because if she were, she would have already handed over the mortal cup. Clary then asks Lydia how they are supposed to trust her, and Lydia makes the smart remark You're Valentine's daughter. I have to learn to trust you first. The next thing we see is Isabel arriving at the Hotel du Moor as Simon is trying on some suit jackets to wear to the wedding. And Isabel seems to admire Simon for a moment and then proceeds to ask him about bachelor parties and what makes a bachelor party a bachelor party. It's a really great scene between them, and I just need Sizzy already. I know, we just got Malec, and we probably won't really get Sizzy until season 2, but Sizzy. I'm a heavy Sizzy shipper. The next thing we see is Magnus back at his place, and he starts hallucinating Ragnar fell. This is something new. I do not remember this being a thing, but I actually liked it because we got to see more Ragnar. Then we flash over to the Institute and see Alec having his bachelor party that Izzy has thrown together for him, and it consists of him meeting with Jace and mending things between them. It's a pretty decent bachelor party in my opinion because Jace and Alec at odds has been breaking my heart, and when they finally make up, yes. It's great. After that, we flash back to Magnus's place and we see Ragnar telling Magnus to do everything in his power to fight for love. He got burned so hard by Camille in the past, and Ragnar's just telling him when it's worth it and it's amazing and wonderful, go for it and don't give up on love. All right, now let's talk about this wedding. Oh yes, everything was wonderful and I have 0 complaints. It was perfect. One of the first things we see before the wedding begins is Simon arriving, and he actually impresses Clary with his getup, and then shortly after the wedding begins. So as Lydia is about to mark Alec with the wedded union rune, Magnus shows up and it is glorious. Alex states that he can't breathe and that this is the wrong decision, and then he heads straight to Magnus. His mother tries to stop him. He ignores her, grabs Magnus and kisses him, and oh my, I fell asleep watching that scene on loop and woke up with a dead phone because I fell asleep watching that scene. It was that good. Just yes, yes. Yes, yes, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Malec has kissed finally, and I am very, very happy. Now, back to the kiss. There are so many amazing reactions from all of the characters that I just couldn't get over. Simon and Clary are so happy, so is Jason, Izzy, and one thing that I noticed was Brother Jeremiah kind of cocked his head to the side like, what? But beyond that, Hodge was kind of smirking. Robert just kind of turned his head like, I don't even know anymore. And Maris looked downright fuming. She was pissed. Oh man, she was pissed. It's all about her in Maris's world. She's very mad at Alec. After the kiss, we see Isabel approach Alec and Magnus, and she tells Alec how proud she is of him, and then Simon comes over and starts fanboying. He is such a Malec shipper, and I cannot get over all of this. After all of that, Magnus tells Clary and Jace that he didn't come just for Alec, and he shows all of the items he got from Ragnar's place to all of them. And one of the items Clary recognizes from the other dimension, it's a bookmark, and apparently it goes with the Book of the White. Well, Magnus does some kind of warlock tracking thing and figures out Camille has the book or knows where the book is, and Camille is locked up in the basement of the Hotel du Moor. It's great. The next thing we see is Lydia getting ready to take the Mortal Cup back to Idris. She gets attacked and the Mortal Cup is taken. Okay, at this point I had a lot of suspicions on who this was, and I was so happy I was right. The next thing we see is Clary and Jace having a conversation about Jocelyn and how Jocelyn mourned her son's passing. Clary shows Jace that box that said JC on it, and it's just a really good scene. A lot of big things happen in the last few moments of this episode. Alec, after having been told off by his mother, asked Magnus out on a date, and it's so great. Also, Robert is being pretty understanding very fast about Alec and Magnus. It's quite different from the books, but I'm kind of feeling it. The last thing that happens, we see Hodge call Valentine, and offer the mortal cup if Valentine breaks his punishment rune. Yep, it's great, it's perfect, and I thought this show couldn't get any better. It has. And as far as quotes go, there's only one that really stood out to me that I just had to mention. It was said by Magnus to Alec when Magnus had called Alec over. The line was, "Emotions are never black and white, they're more like symptoms." I love the way it was delivered and the message behind it. This episode blew me away, and I cannot wait for the season finale and season 2. I hope y'all enjoyed this recap and review. Continue to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye, guys.